Yes, Nessie.
Pharaoh comes to the recognition that he is wicked. The question is, how come? And if the good needs to discover that he's evil, he discovers it in comparison with actual evil, but he himself is evil, so in respect to what can he say that he's evil?
We learn Torah in one body, meaning all there is a person that starts discerning, where do I exist? What affects me? Who am I? What am I? Pharaoh is all our thoughts and desires that stand in our way of revealing and reaching adhesion with the Creator. And we research. This Pharaoh suddenly confuses me, meaning all kinds of thoughts awaken. They may be pleasant thoughts, pleasant desires, and they take me from one state to another. They confuse me throughout this whole life. That's how it is all the time. This is the ordinary Pharaoh. My ordinary evil inclination, confusing me throughout my whole life until I die. This is well known to me. Millions of people, billions of people live this way. They're being confused by the will to receive, and they have to serve this will to receive. This is the meaning of the verse. Everyone is a servant of Pharaoh. Not slaves, but servants. Because this is something a person determines for himself, if he's a servant or a slave. And then he does what his nature, what his ego tells him, and in return, he receives pleasures, or at least less torments. And so he's willing to keep all of Pharaoh's commandments, the commands of his corporeal nature. If the Creator wants a person to come closer to him, to himself, to the Creator, then he hardens his heart, the heart of man. And it gives him a feeling that whatever he's doing in his life, meaning following the commands of nature, these are actually commands by Pharaoh, meaning it's the evil force. It's not for your own good, for man's good. He's confusing you throughout your life, so later on he can bury you in the ground. That's it. And he's enjoying the fact that you are following his commands. You're going according to his words. If you resist it, and you want to know for what reason, why, I don't want to be under the control of my nature. By that, I'm not alive. I'm not enjoying. There's no benefit for me. And what for? And why? Then you start asking. And out of your questions, you start researching and understanding him more. And you start understanding this inclination you have is evil, because it disconnects you from being free, knowing what you're alive for. Instead of that, you're concerned only about giving pleasure to him. You want to eat, to sleep, to rest, to take a walk, to do this, to do that. He's pushing you to be with your family, with your children, all kinds of things. It's confusing you throughout your whole life. Let's say I have even 100 years to live. It fills these 100 years in all kinds of business, games, doesn't matter what. He gives me all these things, and throughout my whole life, I am serving him. When a person asks, for what reason, why, then this evil inclination starts playing a different game with him, not giving him or letting him understand that there is something not letting him understand there is something here, the essence of life. So it manipulates a person in order to bring this person to ask questions. What am I living for? Why am I alive? Where is my existence from? Who do I belong to? What happens before life, after death, etc.? And the main thing about this inclination of ours is that it starts directing us in a special measure that brings us to ask essential questions. When a person starts asking, what am I living for? Why am I alive? Then this inclination inside a person shows this person how much it's in control, despite these questions. Meaning, on the one hand, it evokes these essential questions because it forces a person to deal with nonsense. On the other hand, it shows a person that it's nonsense, but you cannot not do it. And so, directly and indirectly, it shakes a person, so it will start thinking, why am I living this life? What am I doing? Until a person is awakened in a way that he starts feeling, this person starts feeling that his nature is directed in a way for him to awaken in the right way. And where does this knowledge come from? How does it reveal this? Because that same Pharaoh, the boss of this person, shows this person how much his life, your life is worth nothing. There's no benefit here. If there were one force working on this person, he would carry out this desire of this one force. But because it forces a person to do what it tells it, and also it lets a person understand that this whole life of yours there, it's completely empty, and it's all comes from him. Meaning that there is a kind of study. It shows us, teaches us that we are dealing with nonsense, and that's our whole life. There's no benefit in them. Meaning it's as if he shoots his own leg. He's as if it's harming himself. Gives you the work to do, and on the other hand, it tells you, this work you're doing, it's worthless. You're a beast, you're worth nothing. Look, you're a human being, but I'm making a beast out of you. That's the main thing. And then we start having recognition of this evil. How come I'm a human being, but all I'm doing is things that are related to beasts? What can I do? Then we start seeing that there's as if one thing and its opposite here. That this evil inclination of ours, this Pharaoh, brings us to get to know the Creator. First we know the Pharaoh, and only then we learn that behind this evil inclination, it teaches us that behind it there is a good inclination, that the intention is for our benefit. That's how it teaches us, as the advantage of light out of darkness, so we can understand the opposite things that lie beyond our nature. But why does it do it this way? So that we, by our own desire and effort, we will reach a state that we can open this reality for ourselves, this upper world, so that by that we will come to recognize the upper force above Pharaoh, not the one that all the time plays with this hardening of our heart, with our evil inclination, but rather after we understand that on his behalf, on our nature's behalf, there's both the action and the intention, we too learn the action and the intention And so we reveal the opposite form of Pharaoh, which is the Creator. The entire work then starts to be running after there's none else besides him. I no longer look at Pharaoh. I look at Pharaoh only to see the Creator through it. And he wants to, I want to lock myself on the Creator. And then Pharaoh can play with all these images. All these images of Pharaoh, they help me to learn all kinds of different manners the Creator is relating to me with. Because the Creator himself is a constant relation. The good that does good for the evil, for the good, without any changes. And I cannot discern anything about it. I can't even understand the good, not only the bad. I can't understand anything. Because now there's the upper light fills the entire reality. So where is it? It's not there. But Pharaoh lets me or shows me such a form. It's like a negative with a positive. Like slides through which I can look at the light, and then I can see all these pictures in the light. Is this example clear? That's what Pharaoh does. Meaning we can't recognize or distinguish anything about the Creator without Pharaoh. And then we understand this game. As much as Pharaoh becomes more hard because I've hardened his heart, accordingly, we can reveal more and more discernments by the contrast of good and evil. We discern all the different colors. And without Pharaoh, there is no Creator. That's why I've created the evil inclination. That's what he says first. And through the evil inclination, only through it, when you look at that, and as a created being, you try to see that there is only the good that does good. You start discerning all kinds of relations, actions, intentions, and through that you can know how to behave, so that through Pharaoh you can equalize yourself with the Creator. That's the whole thing about having to be in Egypt for 400 years of exile. And bit by bit, after that, you get to know the Creator. Yes?
So when we look at Pharaoh, we should focus on there's none else besides him who's good and benevolent.
All the time. All the time. Otherwise, what are you looking at? Nature. If you're looking at Pharaoh without the Creator, then you're a researcher of this world. You research the beasts, the behavior of human beings, like anyone here in this world. If you're looking at this world, all this picture before your eyes, this whole theater, if you're looking through it on the Creator, then you start attaining its supervision. That there is the good that does good. But you don't discover the good that does good without having all these opposite forms before your eyes. You must have them, as light excels out of darkness. Okay? Yes.